Hey there, traders, random internet strangers. This is Random Forex Guy. Just got my signals today that we have hit support at for Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So we are going to go to the charts and take a look-see. I have my alerts set up on my MetaTrader 4 platform because I have a lot more cooler indicators there. But for these videos, I use TradingView because there's some things on there that I can do in TradingView that I can't do yet on my MetaTrader platform. So let's go to TradingView. TradingView.com. And I like to take us through it because not everybody knows how to get here yet. But it's free charting. Like I said, I try to make it so it's free for you guys. So I know some of you out there maybe only have a couple $100 to spare, and I wanted as much of it as possible to go to principal. So where were we? Chart. We want chart. And we're going to go a little bit different today than what we did last time. Alright, so we have chain link up there. Come on. There it goes. We are going to go, let's go take a look at Bitcoin first. Let's talk about this real quick. Bitcoin futures. Now, the SEC has made Bitcoin a commodity, as well as Ethereum just recently got that title. And that means that it can be paired up with other items and that it can be traded in different markets, the futures being one market. I don't want to go too deep into it, but what this means is that Bitcoin can be more easily shorted. So that changes the dynamic compared to what it used to be in the previous history. I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing in this bear market right now. In these downtrends, the whales are maybe switching over to futures and shorting Bitcoin so that they can make their money that way. So let's just go ahead and pull that up here real quick. You can see that Bitcoin has taken a pretty big dump. I think we were up here, we were around here last time we talked. And it was starting to develop some support, and then bam, dropped right through. And now we've just been kind of bouncing around here. This level dropped as low as on here we're showing 75.29. I've seen it on different charts as low as 73, so I'll have to take a look at that and find out the arbitrage there, what's going on with that. But we have reached that level that I was talking about. This is on the 60-minute chart. That's why it looks like that. Let's switch it over to, come on. That's not what I want. We want the daily. We're going to go up to daily. This is not being nice to me today. I don't know why it's doing this. It's the 4-hour chart. I want the daily. It's just not cooperating. There we go. So there we go. This is the chart that we were looking at before. You can see we got a nice sale here, so that we had some rejection here today, this afternoon. We're still right at that mark right there from last time, and we're still right here. So this is the time we're going to start looking at price action. This is what we want to see. We want to see these wicks right here, and we want to see a few of them before we take an entry. I'd like to see 2 or 3. Now what you can do is go down to the 4-hour chart, like I showed you over here, and you can see it still is only 1 wick here. Earlier in the day, very early in the day, and now it's just kind of trading sideways a little bit. What I'd like to see is a couple more wicks and a couple more harder rejections. That's what we should be seeing here, is if this is a true excellent level. You'll see it over here. You had a rejection, then a bunch of little teeny tiny small candles, and then boom, it took off. We're looking for a repeat of that. So we got, there's a rejection, it went a little bit lower, rejected again, and then it took off. So that's what we're looking for, is those little tiny candles again. And that's the overnight candles and the next day candles, because this is a 4-hour chart, not the daily. So you might want to start placing your limit orders here. This might happen a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought we might have a day or two or so, or even a week. But this might happen a little bit faster than I thought. When I was looking at the pricing today, I didn't have a chance to look at the charts, but when I was looking at the pricing, you can see this big rejection candle, and it tried to get again, and then the next day it took off. You know, and this wasn't a big move. This isn't like a super parabolic move by any stretch, but it was a rejection of the off of this level. And if you remember right, it's from 6 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, June 8th, and then it just took off parabolically for a good run of almost doubled at one point. Yeah, we were up 100% at one point over the course of a couple weeks. And so this didn't quite make it. So this is what we're starting to look. This is what we're looking for. See, a nice rejection. There was a lot of negative volume down here. I'd like to see some positive volume before we enter. So we might want to hold off a little bit. I mean, we don't have to pick the exact bottom, but we're just looking for a nice rejection off of this level. And one candle isn't enough social proof, but it is enough to show that there is some demand there. What I was reading today is that a lot of this was some longs being filled. What that could mean is that the people that got in on this little run here had their stops at break even down here, and so they got stopped out. So I'm thinking that's what that run is. That's a stop run, or the break even run of these people that jumped on there, got their profit, maybe took some profit here on this candle, this rejection candle here, and then put their stops at break even and held a wait and see mode, which is a great method for trading. It's a pretty good method. You're kind of going against the trend here. You're a little fighting the dog a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with that method. But yeah, I was reading that there was several $1 million worth of longs liquidated here, which tells me that those were probably stops from this move here, and then everybody set their stops at break even, maybe took some profit here, and then jumped out here. So it's definitely needs to be watched for another couple more days. And definitely start getting your, if you haven't already, you want to start getting your limit orders, loading them up. You could probably go pretty low. That was not that bad of a rejection. It probably could see another rejection or so before it takes off, and we get in on a good entry price. Yeah, I'd like to see another rejection candle, because you can see right here there was several here, and then it just kind of went sideways before it took off. So there's a repeating pattern here, and then we have a small rally, and then kind of went to poop there. So, but we definitely know that there's some demand there by the looks of that wick. It's a lot bigger than the last one. It was a couple days ago, people were yelling about this little candle here. I mean, this is small potatoes compared to some of the other daily candles that we've seen. So people want to hype the news up a little bit more than what it is. Okay, but that's enough of that. I would definitely suggest you start looking at possibly setting your limit orders down in this area. You don't have to set them yet. We can wait for confirmation. Wait for a nice green candle, a nice volume green candle as well, and let price, and then jump on the bandwagon. That's also a good method. This could be, just another false bump. So no guarantees on anything. I was looking at the weekly charts and the monthly charts just to get a kind of a real eagle eye view of what's going on with this, and kind of had me second guessing here on a few things when I looked at the longer 1 week chart. This is the weekly chart, and you can see you had the first parabolic wave here, and then here's the second parabolic wave. I heard a lot of chatter out there that the Bitcoin could go up as high as $100,000, and I don't know how much hype that is. So people just, because they're bored, because the market has been kind of boring, and that they, a lot of high hopes. What I do know is the first wave. This is the first wave. This is the mania that really kicked things off back in 2017, and then we had this smaller wave here mid-June before it dropped back down. Okay, so it might be a precursor to a much larger wave upcoming, because look at the correlation, of the different waves. The down wave is what I'm looking at in particular. You can see in relative terms that they're about the same size. You got this wave here, and this wave, and then this wave here, and this wave. And the halvening is supposed to happen this upcoming May, so we got another 6 months before that occurs. And I was watching an interesting video. I'll have to post it up, and I'll have to review it myself, about what happens after the halvening, the patterns that occur. My concerns is that the market is changing. This first market, this was all retail, and the supply was a lot less. This was also retail, but now we have the supply more. But now the market's changing because institutional traders are getting in, because of Bitcoin now being considered a commodity. And so now you got futures, and then you got all these forks that are happening, and so it's changing the dynamic. you can see it's not as clean. This run up and this run up wasn't as clean, and the downward. See, you got some up and down movement here where it was boom, it was a crash, almost like a sugar crash, and it was very uniform in the final waves. As people, thought it might just, be a retracement, but it wasn't. But it might be a bigger retracement. So if we look at, let's jump up to the monthly chart and take a look at it. Now our monthly chart, now we don't have a whole lot of history here. You can see how it all went to poop from, the 20,000 down to 3, and we're back up 13, and then now we're down to half of that. So you can see that the very bottom support here is down around 35. So it's got me thinking long term, a little bit longer term, that we might not be quite there yet. Let's get a clearer look at the week, and let's go back to the weekly. That was a real clear look, but we didn't see the intricate parts of the month. So you have more up and down weeks. We still have our supply, our base supply way back down at 30, 35, 38. And then we have our regular supply here, of our daily supply is up here. But our weekly supply is still way down low. And we have this small area supply here. There was a smaller area. I saw it on the daily chart. It was very small. Wasn't as strong as this area supply. So we're gonna have, demand. I know supply's above, demand's below. Well, we still have a nice rejection candle here. We had rejection candles here. So it's fighting this level pretty hard. Now, and I don't see any place other than here where it's hard to tell when you don't have a lot of history behind it. So we had some rejection here. Just wasn't enough oomph to keep it going until we got down to that 3,500 mark, because that was where it took off from here. So on the monthly, this is also a very good place. So we might want to wait a little bit and see what happens, because a lot what happens in December is all the markets close down. Everybody takes their profits, books their profits for the year for tax purposes, and the markets, the liquidity drives up as people take their profits. So you might see a lot of big exodus from the stock market. It's mainly from the stock market where that happens, and then you'll start seeing movements in the currency markets. And because Bitcoin is a currency, we might see some more movement here. So while we are at this level, and I said that this might be a good level to buy at, it may not be the best level now that I'm looking at it a little bit deeper. Just definitely, it's something to keep an eye on. If we start seeing some green volume candles on the daily, I'm going to go back to the daily. If we start seeing some green candles on the daily, come on, be nice. Doesn't want to be nice to me. There we go. Then, I mean, it would definitely be nice if we saw something like this coming up. Maybe some people will come in and buy Christmas presents, Bitcoin for people's Christmas presents. But I definitely would love to see some green volume here before I entered. But it's definitely that candle there is a good reversal candle. It's not, but it's not an entry candle. But it is a good sign that we could be getting ready for an entry. What was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. I was going to give you uh, a good, some of you guys that are new out here, a good analogy of what cryptocurrency is. Cryptocurrency is a combination of a currency, a means of exchange, and a stock. You're owning stock in the currency. So, take for example Ethereum. Ethereum is it satisfies all three of those things. Ether is the coin, the medium of exchange. Then it actually the blockchain that it's on, that is the exchange that allows you to transfer things peer to peer. It's like Visa, so it works like a Visa credit card, or PayPal or Western Union or anything that we use to transfer funds, and you can buy and hold it because it has value. Uh, I was watching a video this afternoon of Peter Schiff and Eric Voorhees debating about what cryptocurrency is, whether it was going to take over fiat currency. Not gold, fiat currency, because Peter Schiff's a gold bug. He's out there peddling gold. His sales are down 80%, which I explained in the last video that that's because people are coming here because they see that it is a value and they see that it is a source of value. And Peter Schiff was arguing that it's no more, it's just as fiat as a fiat currency because they print the money out of nothing, and that's not the case because you have to mine it, and that takes energy, takes time and effort, just as if you were mining gold out of the ground. And then he said his other complaint was, well, if you're on a desert island, then you could have gold and you can make things out of it. And so, I mean, yeah, but I could also make things out of palm fronds and stuff too. So, I'd find the most reasonable thing. So there was an argument about intrinsic value that it has no intrinsic value. And I argued that the intrinsic value is that you can electronically cross borders and give merchants money without the needs of the middleman, because it is all three of those things. It is a currency, it is a stock, and it is a means of transporting the currency. It's all three wrapped up in one. It's the best thing ever. Satoshi Okamoto, whatever the guy's name is, I can't remember. I can't ever pronounce his name right. Just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Have all three of those things wrapped up. It can make the whole system obsolete and make a truly decentralized marketplace, for the modern day, so that it could be just something that was, the way things are meant to be. It's so organic. I wish I could show you some pictures in my mind. Maybe, in the next video, I'll go into this a little deeper. The final thing that he said, what was it? That I can't remember what it was at the time. So, but I wanted to go over my picks, and my picks. My top 5 are Bitcoin, of course. It's probably going to be 50% of my portfolio. Ethereum, number 2. Gold and silver. Number 3, probably Chainlink. they are trying to solve. What I like about Chainlink is that they're staying focused and they're trying to solve the Oracle problem. And what that is taking news feeds, aggregating them all together, and then putting them into the smart contract to come up with one number and to trigger the smart contract the way it should be triggered from all different sources. That way, the source is not centralized. That the feed, like sports betting, you can get one feed, but that one feed could be easily manipulated and mess up the smart contract. But if you have 5 or 10 different feeds, then it would aggregate it, take the average or the correlate, take all the correlations together and give one number, and that would be the true number because you'd have to get all 5, 10, 15, 20 feeds or whatever, however many feeds that you were going to put into the smart contract. All of them would have to be corrupt in order for the smart contract to give a corrupt result. So that's what they're working on. That's what I like about them. The Ethereum, what I like about Ethereum is that, first of all, they invented the smart contract. So you have the blockchain, and then you have the offshoots of the different dApps or apps that are kind of open ended so that anybody can come in on the blockchain and hook up an app to it. And so that makes it great for, for commerce. So you can set up anything through the Ethereum blockchain with your own code, hook an app to it, and it's like you have the blockchain is like a water line through the city, and then you have different types of spigots, whether it's a toilet, a bathtub, sink, the different avenues in which the funds can fund through, and do so automatically. That's what I like about what Ethereum has done. There's another company called Ren, and Ren, haven't gone through Ren's numbers. Ren, Ren Bitcoin, Ren. There's nothing here for USD, so we'll just do it with Ren to Bitcoin. Now, Ren been on the decline for a while, but now it's starting to show a little bit of life, a little bit of spark to it. And what Ren is doing is they are trying to accomplish cross-chain connections, meaning that if I have Bitcoin and somebody else has Ethereum, you be able to still do business through the Ren network and cross-chain. I give you Bitcoin and you give me change in Ethereum. And now that's very difficult to do because each of you would have to go to exchange, whereas Ren would be an automatic exchange in that you could purchase products in Bitcoin and get change back in Ethereum. It's my understanding of it. You can cross change different coins, and that's their focus, and that's these picks I'm picking are because I like them because they're not fads. These are practical applications that are needed to bring cryptocurrencies to the next level. That's why I like Ren. Then number 5 is Dash. I don't think we went to Dash's. Dash USD. Dash USD has been kind of on a decline, so it might be a good buy here soon. We want to be, it's showing some signs of leveling off. But this is USD. I like to go against the USD. It's just because it's a familiar currency. It's a stable value fairly stable, considering it is a fiat. but and it's just more familiar with people. I don't want to scare people with crosspairs, all sorts of exotics and stuff. I just want to always try to keep it simple. So, but I am seeing some rejections. Volume is starting to see more green candle volume, so that's a good sign. I'd like to see it continue to grow. I just think that it could possibly, just the name alone, the market cap, and uh, the ability to their focus to be a digital currency. That is their main focus. They're not trying to be all things to all people or be some wacky uh, craze. Uh, so that's what I like about them, and this might be a good buy. I would like to I'm going to take a deeper dive on this when I get done here, and find out a little bit more about the fundamentals, and maybe take a look at the longer term charts and see where it is. But those are my top five, and then number six, I do have a number six, is BAT USD. Live fairly new, only been around for a little bit. But from what I understand, they have a browser called Brave that you get paid in bats to use their browser and be exposed to ads that people put on their browser, and they get paid in bats, and that it decentralizes it because I guess he's all mad because Google's taking all the cuts. The end user, the guy that's getting bombarded with ads, gets nothing but bombarded with ads and spend his money. And so the people that they have to pay Google to put those ads in front of them. But I believe this kind of distributes the money evenly between Bat and Brave, the user, and the advertiser. So that was my understanding of it. It's a little bit fatty to me, but because uh, browsing is something that everybody does nowadays, even if it's just for a little bit, you're not on the you're not a computer junkie. You still have to get on there and do stuff, and you have to use browsers. Uh, so it's not a bad idea. I just don't know how. Uh, it's not anything revolutionary. It's just kind of more trendy, and the tokens, I the cash value of the tokens, I'm not quite certain of. If you be able to transfer the time that you get, if you get your tokens for being exposed to those ads, then other than exchanging with other bats, people that have bats, what else can you do with them? Can you exchange them for DAI? Can you exchange them for Bitcoin? And if you can, that's great. That's a good thing. That's my main thing, is so that you can get paid for your time while you're getting exposed to ads. Personally, I hate ads. Uh, I, if I start making enough money, then I will try to eliminate every single ad that I can possibly eliminate. But uh, it's not a bad thing. It just seems to be a little trendy to me, and took a big dump here the past couple days. So that's not necessarily anything that might be a good opportunity to buy the dip. So definitely want to keep an eye on that one. That's number six. So that's my overview. I would definitely start taking a look at putting some limit orders in and seeing where it goes. Uh, I wouldn't go all in. If we were down at 3,500, I'd definitely be all in. But what we're doing is looking for bargains, and this is a bargain price, and it's a strong move, strong. It's a strong area of support. an area of demand. So let's take a look here and see all these perpetual contracts. I don't know a lot about, I came from the Forex world, and it's very simple. You know, two pairs, one against the other. You're just pitting them against each other. And then you got all these perpetual future contracts and vanilla options, and I don't know anything about that, but I do know Forex and I do know money pretty well. Once again, but it looks about the same chart. You got that nice little rejection candle, and that's what we want to see. I'd like to see maybe one more, and I'd like to see, we definitely start seeing a green reversal if these volume candles down here start seeing a solid buy. And we do have some supply up here. So this is support turn resistance. So this is going to be an area that you're going to have to bust through. You can see it didn't make it here, and then it just never got any steam to get back up. And now it's just, we're still kind of in this drift mode. Everybody's getting all excited because we are hitting this level, but I'm not seeing like huge, massive spikes down, not like these candles or these candles. So it was rejected pretty hard. So I think that the liquidity is going to start drying up here a little bit, and I think, you know, people are cashing in for the holidays. This last little hurrah here, I think that's what this was. It's just a lot of break evens, a lot of stop losses that were triggered, and then popped it back up. That's what I think all that liquidation is there. So it might just, I think it's just going to continue to drift, and we're just going to continue to look and see if we can get some buying opportunities here. I think that's all I had for today. If I remember what that other argument that Peter Schiff had, let's see. So I said the value is the ability to transfer peer to peer across the world. That's the value. It wasn't tangible asset. I think that's what it was, and that you couldn't make anything out of it. And it's like, who cares? Oh, store value. That's what it was. You know, you have to take and mine gold, but you also have to take. It takes a lot of. So his arguments were, oh, I remember number 4 now. Stable value. It's true. Bitcoin is not stable value, but Ethereum has DAI. Then there's US Tether. DAI. Oh, this was another reason why I like DAI. Oh, thank you. Trying to record, and I'll have to try to edit that out, I guess. This is a new stable. Well, yeah, this is brand spanking new. So this is DAI. This is Ethereum's stablecoin. And you can see it's keeps itself pretty steady. Had a little spike here. Not sure. I'm gonna have to do some more research on that. But it's supposed to stay and match the dollar. That's its whole purpose. So if you're getting a little woozy from the up and down of the major pairs, you can go and put it in DAI and ride the storm out. So there goes that argument. And there's several of them. There's US Tether. It's USDT Tether. There's DAI USDT. Let's see what this looks like. There's DAI and Tether. They're fighting a battle with each other. But it's a nice stable coin, so there goes that argument. Sorry, Pete. Gold's going bye-bye. Alright. Random internet strangers, thanks for stopping by.